Hello, friends. Welcome to 30 Days of Yoga. I'm Holly Wade with Holly Wade Wellness, as you know by now. I thought we would do a Yin yoga practice, and a Yin practice is really slow. It's more feminine energy, more receptive. We are taking our time and we're allowing the joints, the tissues, and the ligaments and tendons to have a chance to open. Now, we don't want to overstretch them. So it's not about overstretching, but it's about finding an edge. And we stay in our poses for 1 to 3 minutes. So it's a really deep, long, full pose. So it's a very mental practice. So I thought that we would just go with that today. So let's go ahead. This is also a nice practice before you go to bed because it really does allow you to wind down. You're going to be relaxed and at ease when we wrap this baby up. So if you're doing this to start the day, you might just enjoy a sense of calm going into the day, and you might find that you like that. I find I really like a yin practice at night because then I'm just ready to unwind, enjoy some tea, call it a night, journal, and really just unwind. It's a nice practice for that. But you experience it and see what you need to do. So with that being said, let's go ahead and find our position for breath work today. You may need a blanket or pillows, some props nearby. So if you need to gather those, go right ahead. And when you're ready, go ahead and close the eyes and start to come into your breath. Now simply observe any body parts that are talking to you. And as we go through our practice today, simply observe any changes that happen. In a yin practice, it's really important to be aware of the transitions and to take our time transitioning out of poses. And if we consider life is continuously transitions. And it's really important to pay attention during those transitions. Our work on the mat always models life. It's always about life lessons and putting life into practice on the mat. So just be mindful as we go in and out of poses. Be mindful as we're in the poses. And always come back to the breath. Always observe what's happening in the body and give yourself permission to ease out. So let's begin by transitioning into child's pose. Now, this is a really nice way to use some props. So I have a couple of pillows for today, some really, really cushy ones. And sometimes it's really nice to just rest in child's pose right here. So if you'd like to do that, that's an option. If you would like to extend into child's pose on the floor, that's an option as well. So go ahead and choose what option you prefer. Feel free to close the eyes and come into your breath, just allowing your body to sink into the floor. Allowing the muscles along the spine to relax and to lengthen. Trusting that gravity helps you do the work. Giving yourself permission to be at ease. Simply notice if you're hanging on or if you allow yourself to let go while you're in the pose. Notice if you're hanging on to tension in the jaw, or in the neck, or in the fingers if they happen to be gripping. Notice if you're holding your breath, or if you're allowing yourself to breathe really fully and deeply. We'll enjoy 3 more breaths in this pose. And then we'll ease out and just set the props to the side for a moment. We won't need them for this next pose. Now I'm going to give you a couple of options. You can stay seated and the arms will crisscross. Or you can lie down. So if this bothers your shoulders, if you have bad shoulders, please stay seated. Or if you have shoulders where you've had surgery or something like that. So it doesn't matter which way you crisscross to begin. We're simply crisscrossing, letting our chin rest. Now I bring my arms above my breasts so that there's room. Volleyball girls were always asking, which way does this go? So just allow your chin to relax and allow that space in the neck and the shoulders and the upper and mid back to relax. Allow those muscles to ease off and that tension to release. So just breathe full and deep. Feel your belly press into the floor if you're lying down. If you're staying seated, observe your ribs opening and closing. Take just a couple more breaths right here. And if you're seated, you'll simply open up the arms and then switch them around. If you're on the floor, take your time and we'll flip-flop the arms around and then settle back in the opposite way. Now notice that as your body relaxes, your arms might spread a little farther. Remember, nothing should actually create pain. It should create opening And maybe just kind of this point of tension, but you'll notice that that tension dissipates when you found that edge. When you're in pain, it just continues to create pain. So if that's the point, then ease out of it and try again. Observe the jaw. Observe your breath. Notice the neck. And see if you can create length. We have about 1 more minute. So take the deepest, fullest breaths that you can, breathing in and out, feeling the belly rise and fall. Maybe even exhaling out of the mouth, because when we sigh, we can't hang on to any tension in the body. It's impossible. One more deep, full breath in and out. And then gently allow yourself to come out of that pose however you need to. And we'll transition into pigeon. So pigeon is here on the floor. Now, if that bothers you, if you have knee issues, I'd like you to be on your back in a figure 4. If it's possible for you, let me show you from this direction so you can see the positioning of my knee. So my knee is to the outside of my hand. And then from here, I'll go down to the floor. Those hips are level. So you might use a towel to prop or a blanket to prop if one hip is on the floor. So I come into a plank or a downward dog first, and then pull that knee in. Now notice the hips aren't even. Now this is where that prop comes in. I can cushion underneath one hip or the other if my hips kind of fall over to one side or the other. Now I can just stay on my elbows, or I can lie flat on the floor. I like to stack my fists and rest my forehead so my neck stays long and relaxed. It's entirely up to you. So simply observe your breath. Observe what's happening in those hips. Notice what's happening mentally or emotionally. Give yourself permission to breathe into it, to breathe through it, or to back out of it. actually almost through this one. Taking a couple more breaths in and out. And then gently easing out of the pose, removing any props that you might have so that you can transition into the pose on the other side. If you're on your back, just stretch out those legs, wiggle from side to side, and then switch it around to the other side. So in downward dog or plank, pulling that left leg up, or the other leg if you have your left leg to start with. And my knee rests outside of my hand, walking down to my elbow, or lying flat on the floor. If there's any gripping anywhere in the body, you just adjust or try a prop and see what happens. We're really tuning in so that our bodies can be in a state of rest as much as possible. Now just see if we can breathe a little deeper. Once you've inhaled, see if you can inhale just a little more. And once you've let all that air go, see if you can exhale just a little more. Just a couple more deep breaths. And on that exhale, go ahead and come on up. Pressing back in child's pose for just a moment, or tucking both knees into the chest. And we're not staying here for a full 3 minutes. We're just giving our hips a little chance just to kind of have a break. Beautiful. Come on out of that, wiggle out, whatever you need to do. So we'll do a little counter pose and open up the inside of those thighs. Now, if you are on your back, if you have knee issues, I want you to stay on your back and you will do dead bug. So this pose. If you don't have knee issues, you can try frog. And frog is where those knees are out, and I'm actually not right on my knee. I'm resting, oh, my knee just popped, that didn't feel good, on the inside of my calf. I'm kind of resting on this part of my shin. So I'll take my time coming in, and then once again, I'll just stay on my elbows. This one's called frog. Now, if you're able to go into kind of a split, that's an option, but otherwise we're just staying right here. And remember, if this is not a good pose for you, you have the opportunity to go into dead bug. We're really opening up those inner thighs and the inner part of the hips. Enjoying a full deep breath. Feel free to close the eyes and tune into what's going on in your body. observing any body parts that are feeling tension and inviting relaxation into those spaces. Taking 3 more breaths in and out. And take your time transitioning out of the pose. Beautiful job. Excellent, excellent. Let's lie on our backs and just bring the knees into the chest. If you were on your knees like I was, if you were in that way, you might massage those knees a little bit. You might just kind of circle the hips and just give them some TLC, one direction or the other. If you were in dead bug, you can do the same. Just give those body parts, any body parts, a little TLC. And let's do one more thing on each side. So a little spinal twist. So I'm going to take those pillows and give my knee a place to go. So we know this one. In this case, it'll be my left knee. So my back, the leg opposite of the side that I put the pillows on. We'll just come over and rest. And we're just in a T position with those arms, and the gaze can be up or to the back if that feels available for you tonight. And we're simply observing our breath. Just allowing the spine to open up. Maybe even picturing each vertebrae having some space. That was fast. Breathing in, exhaling as we come back to center. Let's go ahead and take those pillows over to the other side. Take your time to transition. I actually need to move off my mat just a little bit. And this time, that leg, the opposite leg comes over. Getting that nice opening. And our gaze is either to the ceiling or over to the opposite hand or shoulder. And again, just picturing those vertebrae, each one from the tailbone on up, gaining just a little more space and a little more opportunity for some room. The body's relaxed, our eyes are closed, and all we have to do is focus on a deep, full breath. continuing to observe our breath. And on that exhale, the knee comes in and we gently release. This time the the pillows just come underneath the knees. And we come into stillness for those few minutes. And all we'll focus on in stillness tonight is letting go. So as we exhale, we'll see if we can exhale just a little more. It's a practice of surrender. As we inhale, and we think we've taken that deepest, fullest breath, let's see if we can inhale just a little more. Symbolizing an openness to receiving. So the inhale is receiving, that exhale is letting go. And so we're just finding this balance between the two. Now maybe even use it as an opportunity to be open to receiving. So with those palms up, that's a symbol of giving and receiving. The right arm is giving, the left arm is reception. Or excuse me, the right arm is receiving, the left arm is giving. So maybe just think about something in your life that you either are asking for or something that you need to let go of. Or maybe it's a marriage of the two, that in order to be fully open to receive what's best for you, maybe there's something that you need to let go of and completely relinquish. we take in 3 more breaths. And as we take that breath in, we see if we can take in just a little bit more, and we observe a pause. We open the lips and we let out a sigh. And we'll do that together 2 more times, taking our breath in. Inhaling and taking in just a little more. Exhaling and letting out a sigh. 1 more time. Wiggling those fingers and toes and stretching in whatever ways that we need to. Taking our time to roll over to a side and allowing our bodies to wake up just a little bit after this kind of a practice where we are, I don't know about you, but I'm really relaxed. So take all the time you need to and figure out a way to come up to a seated position. I don't know about you, but I think I'm ready for bed now. I hope you enjoy a relaxing rest of your day. I hope you enjoy a calm day or a restful night. Namaste.